In a bold move to restore integrity to American education, President Donald Trump has frozen over $2 billion in federal grants to Harvard after the university arrogantly rejected federal mandates to eliminate divisive diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs. Trump's message is clear. Universities that promote ideological extremism over American values will face consequences. Harvard President Alan Garber's dismissive response, claiming no government should dictate academic policies, shows how out of touch with the new reality the Ivy League has become. This action is part of a broader effort by Trump to cleanse the education system, dismantling foreign-backed anti-American ideologies and bringing institutions back to their core mission. Let's explore how Trump is leading the charge in purging U.S. universities of these radical influences. From Harvard to Columbia to UCLA, protest footage from March and April 2024 shows students chanting Intifada revolution and labeling Israel an apartheid state. But this didn't start overnight. Back in October 2023, over 30 Harvard student groups openly blamed Israel for Hamas's brutal attacks, calling the Jewish state solely responsible for the violence. The statement triggered national outrage. Harvard professors condemned it, lawmakers blasted it as terrorism apologism, and former university president Larry Summers called it morally unconscionable. Yet the sentiment spread like wildfire across America's top universities. It was no longer just youthful rebellion, it was indoctrination masquerading as moral clarity. For years, no one dared challenge it. Until now. Between 2001 and 2021, Qatar donated over $1.5 billion to U.S. universities, making it one of the largest foreign contributors to higher education in America. Major recipients included Georgetown, Northwestern, and Texas A&M. Qatar is also the world's leading state sponsor of Hamas and has hosted the group's leadership in Doha, openly treating them like political celebrities. These donations aren't acts of goodwill, they're strategic investments. What better way to launder radical influence into the heart of America than by paying off its most elite institutions? The result, an education system where foreign propaganda flows through lecture halls while U.S. values are systematically dismantled. George Soros's Open Society Foundations, OSF, have long funded both elite universities and the street-level groups behind anti-Israel campus protests. Through OSUN, Soros supports Harvard, while also channeling funds into Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, Jewish Voice for Peace, JVP, and the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, USCPR, which received over $300,000 since 2017. These aren't grassroots movements. They're subsidized revolts. Some student activists are even paid up to $7,800 to organize campus actions. The result? Elite universities are no longer centers of independent thought, but fully integrated parts of a political machine powered by billionaire activists and ideological warfare. From 2020 to 2025, schools like Yale and Harvard repeatedly failed to report massive sums in foreign donations. Yale omitted $375 million, and Harvard's shady financial ties to China came to light after the arrest of Dr. Charles Lieber. In 2023 alone, Harvard disclosed $218 million in foreign gifts, including $16 million from China and $14.2 million from Hong Kong. And in 2025, the Trump administration took unprecedented action, freezing $2.3 billion in grants, launching a $9 billion contract review, and demanding records on foreign student activity. For years, the federal government looked the other way, while universities pocketed foreign cash. Not anymore. The uniparty's protectors are gone, and the reckoning is here. By 2025, many top professors at places like Georgetown and Columbia have rotated directly from the national security state, CIA analysts, Homeland Security officials, Pentagon advisors. These figures now teach students international relations and global studies, helping shape the worldview of America's next diplomats, journalists, and policymakers. Victor Cha, a foreign policy advisor at CSIS, teaches at Georgetown. Donald Harvin, formerly Homeland Security, now leads Georgetown's Security Studies program. Critics call this the academic wing of the deep state, a pipeline that conditions young elites to regurgitate approved globalist narratives while dismissing populist ideas as dangerous. The goal isn't education, it's control. Left-wing groups have led the charge in campus protests, especially those related to Palestine. Jewish Voice for Peace, Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, and If Not Now staged massive protests at Harvard, Columbia, and UCLA. These groups aren't operating on student loans and lunch money. They're backed by multi-million-dollar foundations like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Ford Foundation, and the Tides Foundation. In 2023 alone, Rockefeller granted over $150,000 to JVP. Legal teams, protest logistics, online amplification, all professionally managed. And what do these groups demand? Not peace, not compromise, but decolonization, the end of U.S. alliances, and the total erasure of Israeli statehood. What used to be student activism is now just a rehearsed arm of the radical nonprofit industry, weaponized to destroy from within. By 2025, Trump isn't just tweaking policy, he's breaking the entire model. Through executive order, he's dismantling the Department of Education, redistributing its duties, and slashing federal staffing via Schedule F. Up to 50,000 entrenched bureaucrats are being purged. Elon Musk's Doge agency has withdrawn AmeriCorps disaster relief teams and accelerated privatization. Meanwhile, Trump has moved to curtail judicial overreach, reduce Pentagon influence, and strip power from unelected bureaucrats. Allies call it the long-overdue gutting of the deep state. Critics call it chaos, because for the first time, their monopoly on cultural and institutional power is under real threat. And nowhere is that threat more existential than in education. Because whoever controls the campus controls the future. Trump knows that, and he's acting like it. Trump's stance is clear. American education should be about merit, not race. By freezing funding to institutions like Harvard that cling to divisive DEI programs, he's standing firm for a system based on achievement, not racial quotas. As Trump continues to cleanse the education system, we must ask, will his reforms unify America or deepen the cultural divide? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more deep dives into geopolitics.